Hi everyone. In today's video, we'll discuss about the permanent method of the contraception. So you might have seen in the earlier videos, we had discussed regarding the temporary methods or the spacing methods of the contraception, which are being having a lifespan from some days to that of around 8 to 10 years also. Where generally in case of the temporary methods, which are also called as the spacing methods, so thereafter there is a time interval where a female can stop taking the pills or the devices which are being inserted, and thereby she can attain the fertility, okay, so that she will be able to again produce a child. So that is in case of temporary methods. But in this video, we'll be discussing that about the permanent method where reversibility is generally poor, and this is why it is called as a permanent method. So, permanent method of contraception is also being regarded as a terminal method, or it is being called as a sterilization methods, because these are the methods which are being done by the help of the surgeries. So here, in case of males, this terminal method is being regarded as a vasectomy, whereas in case of females, there are two types of the terminal methods. One is the common which is being done, that is called as tubectomy, and the other one is called as Essure. Now, let us get into the details of how these sterilization methods are being conducted. Right. So let us start with the first one, that is called as vasectomy. So in case of vasectomy, generally the pair of vas differences which are being there in the male reproductive system, so they are being cut and they are being ligated and they are being placed apart. Okay, so that is vasectomy. Now, in case of vasectomy, there are two types of vasectomy. One is called as a scalpel vasectomy and the other one is called as non-scalpel vasectomy. So, what is the procedure or how this vasectomy is being done? So, vasectomy is being done to that of the male where it has been a local anesthesia is initially given, which means to that of this scrotal part which is there, to this scrotal region, local anesthesia is being given, which means only that particular part of the body is being anesthetized. So once anesthesia is being given, thereafter in the scrotal region there is a small incision is being made, and once the incision around 1 to 2 centimeters, an incision after it is being done, then the vas differences which are there present, so these vas differences are being exposed. So once they are being exposed, thereafter they are being made a cut, and thereafter ligation is being done on both the vas difference. So once the ligation is being done, thereafter these vas difference are being reintroduced into the scrotal sac, and the distance between the cut end of the vas difference is being kept apart 1 to 4 centimeters. So that is necessary. Why? Because there is a possibility in case of these vas differences may reunite, and possibly after the vasectomy also these individuals may even produce the child. So that should not happen. So that is the reason the cut ends are being separated, where 1 to 4 centimeters a gap is being maintained, and later what happens, in between these cut ends there will be the growth of the tissue, which generally prevents the movement of the sperms from the vas difference into the ejaculatory duct. So once the cut end everything is being done, thereafter the tissue or the scrotal sac where the incision was being done, so there minor suturing is being done, and thereafter this individual is being advised to have to take rest for at least 1 week. Okay, so that is vasectomy, which is being an incision is made by the help of a scalpel. So when there is usage of the scalpel, so that is called as a scalpel vasectomy. And in the other one, that is what I said, non-scalpel vasectomy, what is being done is there is usage of the ringed forceps and fine forceps are being used, and the process remains the same, only there is no usage of the scalpel. So that is why it is called as non-scalpel vasectomy. Okay. Next is in case of the females. In the females, the tubectomy is being conducted, where in the females initially there is a general anesthesia is being given, so that the entire body gets anesthetized. Why? Because here the ovaries which are there, so they are present or embedded in the body, whereas in case of the males, the scrotal sac or the testis are being present outside the abdomen. So that is what we have, extra abdominal testis. Whereas in case of the female reproductive system, as the ovaries are present inside the body, so there the females are being given general anesthesia. So once the anesthesia is being given, so here around 1 to 3 or 2 to 4 small incisions, around 2 to 4 centimeters of incisions are being done on both the sides of the abdominal region, and thereafter the fallopian tubes are being taken out, okay, exposed out, and thereafter they are being cut and they are being ligated. So on both the sides the ligation is being done, and thereafter the cut ends are being reintroduced into the body. So similarly, as in case of the male, there is a separation of 1 to 4 centimeters. So similarly here the oviducts or the fallopian tubes cut ends are to be having a gap of 1 to 4 centimeters. So that is mandatory. So once after the process is being done, thereafter the suturing is being done, and thereafter the female is being sent for taking care of herself, or she need to take a rest for at least a week. So that is what we have is called as tubectomy. Okay. Remember, in case of a tubectomized person, menstrual cycle will be normal, but only the ova which is being released from the secondary oocyte does not enter into the isthmus part or into the uterine region. Menstrual cycle remains same. There is no change in case of the tubectomized person. So everything is normal. Apart from the tubectomy, there is another procedure that is called as laparoscopic procedure. So in case of laparoscopic procedure, what it is being done is, if this is a fallopian tube, okay, so this fallopian tube is being made a loop-like structure, and thereafter at this particular end, okay, if this is a normal fallopian tube, the fallopian tube here, if it is being made to close, and thereafter there is a tying or tagging is being done, so that the secondary oocyte which is being released, okay, from the ovary, so that is not able to move into the uterine region. So there is a loop which is being made in case of the laparoscopic procedure. So that is, loops are being done by tying the fallopian tubes on both the sides. Later in the females, there is another method that is called as Essure. In case of Essure, what is being done is by using certain devices, thin metal coils are being introduced. Thin metal coils are introduced, and thereafter these thin metal coils are being introduced in the particular place of the fallopian tube. Okay, so you can see here. So thin metal coils are being introduced on both the oviducts, and thereafter what happens is, surrounding the metal coils there will be growth of the tissue, and later this complete fallopian tube gets blocked, which means it prevents the contact between the sperm with that of the ova. So thereby that also is one of the permanent method of the contraception, as it is being blocking the fusion between the male and female gamete. So that is the three methods generally. So that is, one is vasectomy, tubectomy, and as I said, laparoscopic procedure and Essure. So these are the permanent method of the contraceptions, which are generally reversibility of them is poor. Okay, so thereby they are called as permanent method of contraception. Now, what we have to remember in case of these sterilization methods is, sterilization methods prevents contact between the gametes. So the fusion between the gametes is being completely inhibited. Gametogenesis occurs both in case of the male as well as the female. So in case of the males, from the testis, the production of the sperm, everything is normal. In case of female, the ovary, from the ovary, the production and release of secondary oocyte is normal. Here, in case of the male reproductive system, in a vasectomized person, seminal vesicle secretion, everything occurs normally, but the seminal secretion or seminal fluid does not contain the sperms. Hormonal secretion and their release is also normal, as I said. So, because hormonal secretion and its release is being done by the gonads, and the release into it is being done into the bloodstream. So, if the ends are being cut, either it may be vas deferens or it may be the fallopian tube. So, there is no problem which is being associated with the hormonal imbalance. So, that is the permanent method of contraception or sterilization methods. Now, next part what we have to discuss is medical termination of pregnancy, which means MTP. Now, what is MTP? Why it is being conducted? So that we'll discuss. MTP refers to voluntary abortion, or you can call it as induced abortion. Now, why the induced abortions are to be done? So that we'll discuss in the later part. Now, first is definition. What is MTP? MTP refers to deliberately removal or intentionally removal of the fetus before its full term development by a medical practitioner. So that is what is called as medical termination of pregnancy. And this medical MTP is commonly called as induced abortion. Induced because we are purposefully aborting the child before it gets completely developed. Okay. So around 40 to 50 millions of MTPs are being conducted worldwide every year. So when the 40 to 50 millions of the children are not brought into the world, so this might be that it is controlling the population size also. So probably indirectly it is being doing so. Or 40 to 50 millions of MTPs are being conducted worldwide. Now, why the MTPs have to be conducted, right? Why? Because, so first reason is failure. During the sexual intercourse, if the failure of the contraceptive takes place, in such condition, MTPs are being conducted. Or if the child, the growing fetus or growing embryo which is there, if it is being suffering from any genetical disorder, either it may be chromosomal or it may be the gene disorder, if it is being recognized, then MTP can be conducted. Or if the embryo or the child which is being growing in the womb of the mother, if it is the result of the rape or sex abuse, in such case MTP. Or without using any unprotected intercourse, if it is being done without using any contraceptive method, if the intercourse is being done and suppose that there is release of the semen into the female genital tract and possibly fertilization may have occurred, in such cases the MTP can be done. And if the growing child, if it is causing a problem to that of, very severe problem to that of the mother, or if the problem is associated with that of the child also, in that case also the MTPs can be conducted. So these are the reasons why MTPs are conducted. Now I will tell you when the MTPs have to be conducted. So MTPs have to be generally, they are to be conducted in the first trimester or you can say the first 3 months of the gestation period, or you can say the 12 weeks, the initial 12 weeks of the gestation period, the MTPs have to be conducted. Nowadays, there is a saying that it can extend. We can conduct the MTPs up to 20th week of the gestation period also, but preferable, much more safer. Who is safe now? The mother has to be safe here, because at the 3 months of the development of the embryo, majority of the organs will develop, so possibly it may cause a threat to that of the mother. So preferable is 12 weeks, but it can be extended up to 20 weeks of the gestation period. Now, whether this MTP can be done in generally all the nursing homes, or is that true? Yeah, it is being true that MTP now it is being legalized in India since 1971 under Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act. Okay, so that is in the 1971. So this act was being passed, and in the year 2002, this particular act was being amended. So that is MTP, Medical Termination of Pregnancy, which means whenever the mother doesn't want to have the child, so legally she can go for the MTP, right? Next part after the MTP is sexually transmitted diseases. See, the word itself will tell you that these are the diseases which are being transmitted by the sex mainly. That is the reason they are being called as sexually transmitted diseases. Also called as venereal disease, named after the Greek god, and also called as reproductive tract infection, because whenever an individual comes across with that of these STDs, mainly the reproductive tracts are being affected. So thereby they are also called as reproductive tract infection. Now, in case of sexually transmitted disease, how these diseases are being transmitted from one person to another. So there are 3 modes of transmission. The first one is called as a parenteral route, which means whenever there is a sharing of the infected needles, okay, or the syringes, in such cases, possibility is the transmission takes place, or it may be due to the sex or sexual intercourse. If the sex is being done with that of the infected person, so 100% there is a transmission, or it may be the transplacental transmission. So in case of transplacental transmission, if the mother is being infected with any of the STD, so there is a possibility that that female can transmit the disease to her young one. So all these are the 3 modes of the transmission of the STDs. Now we have a list of the STDs. Either it may be the gonorrhea, syphilis, or it may be the AIDS, genital warts, genital herpes, trichomoniasis, enterobiasis, scabies, candidiasis. Various of the STDs are being present, and among these, majority of these STDs are can be cured, whereas AIDS, hepatitis B, and genital herpes. So these are the 3 main STDs which remains incurable. Means treatment can be given, but the individual can't get cured completely, as a case of either it may be gonorrhea or syphilis or genital warts. Right. Now, in case of the STD, what are the common symptoms? Symptoms may include, it may be like itching, or it may be like inflammation in the genital regions, or it may be the fluid discharge. Common symptoms, initially they are being shown whenever the pathogen enters into the body. By chance, if we neglect, okay, these symptoms, and we completely involve in our daily life without getting treated with that of the particular treatment, so then that happens, that results into very severe conditions, that it may result into pelvic inflammatory diseases, or ectopic pregnancy, or stillbirths, and many more of the complications may be seen, and even the female has a chance that she may lose her fertility, or the female may get affected with the reproductive tract cancer. So whenever the symptoms are being shown, so better to get treated very well. Okay, right. Next is in case of these sexually transmitted diseases, okay, preventions can be done. Preventions, that is avoiding having the sex with that of unknown partner or a multiple partner, or in case if some symptoms are being shown, better to consult a doctor and take the advice from the doctor, or prior to having the intercourse, if there is a usage of the condoms, then possibly the transmission of the STDs can be prevented, right? Now I have a list here, and regarding STDs, I will do another video in detail regarding what kind of the tests are to be done, diagnosis, and what type of the treatment are being given, what type of symptoms are being shown by a peculiar pathogen. So that we'll discuss in the next video. But in this video, I will explain in a brief about the disease, its pathogen, and nature of the pathogen, as well as treatment. So here in this STD chart, I have a gonorrhea, which is being caused by a pathogen named as Neisseria gonorrhoeae, and that is a bacteria. And for these individuals, penicillin or ampicillin antibiotics are being given. Syphilis, which is another bacterial STD, which is being caused by a Treponema pallidum, and that can be treated by giving penicillin. Thereafter, AIDS is being caused by the human immunodeficiency virus. It is a nature, and treatment here, as I said, temporary. That's what a treatment is being given, but it can't be cured. So there are two general vaccines, two medicines which are being given. One is called as azithromycin. The other one is called as dideoxyinosin. Genital warts. A human papillomavirus is the causative agent, and here in case of the warts, a cryosurgery is being done, where the warts which are being grown over the external genitalia, so those are being removed by the surgery. Genital herpes, again an incurable disease, but this is caused by herpes simplex virus, and treatment can be given. So that is, one is called as Zovirax, the other one is Famvir, and the other one is Valtrax. Generally, these kind of antiviral drugs are being given to that of the individuals suffering from STD. Trichomoniasis, caused by Trichomonas vaginalis, which is basically a protozoan disease, and here anti-amoebic pills are being given, okay, because this is basically a protozoa. So protozoan pills, anti-protozoic pills are being given to that of the individuals. So this is a nematodal STD, which is being caused by Enterobius vermicularis, and here anti-helminthic drugs are being given. So as I said, I will have another video only about the STDs, where it will be much more in detail, so that we'll discuss. So in this particular video, what we have discussed is about the permanent method of the contraception, where vasectomy is done in males, and tubectomy, laparoscopic procedure, and Essure. So these are the three techniques which are being done in the females. Next, we have discussed about the medical termination of the pregnancy, where whenever a female gets conceived or pregnant, so she has all the rights that she can go for the abortion, because it is being legalized in India under the Act, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971. And the last one what we had discussed is the sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, thank you.